Welcome to Radiant Life TV, the place to be for millennials to live a life that is full of light, purpose, and impact. My name is Cherese and I am your lovely host, but most importantly, I am a millennial. So I totally get it and am thankful to be along this journey with you. Now, I've frequently been getting asked, Cherese, what is the Radiant Life and why are you so passionate about it? Well, I had actually done a video about this, I don't know, maybe a few months ago, but I realized that it was kind of just surface level. And I think it was surface level because I just wasn't really ready to share the real, authentic, raw, unedited me. And if we're being totally honest, I have recorded this video what seems to be like 10 different times. So hopefully we'll get it right on this try. And so in another one of my videos, I was explaining what it felt like to me to be a millennial. I said about 6 months ago, I felt like a complete failure. I felt as though I was on a stationary bike, doing a lot of movement, but really not getting anywhere. And maybe that's also where you find yourself. You have probably seen the headlines and you've probably heard it on the news, on Facebook, wherever, that millennials are a driven generation, right? Sounds amazing. Wow, they're so driven. But what I've realized in my own life personally, and also speaking with other millennials, is that few of us know what is really driving us. But the truth is, we are all driven by something. Whether it's fear, anger, abuse, low self-esteem, the desire for prominence or validation, we're all driven by something. For me, the thing that was driving me most was fear. The fear of failing, the fear that I wasn't gonna be good enough. And so what I would do is I would push super hard, just push harder, push harder, push harder to reach those goals that I had set for myself. So pushing harder, unfortunately though, had me pass out 3 different times. The first time was a week before I graduated from college. I passed out clean in the center of campus due to stress. I was stressed out because I didn't land that dream job that I thought I was going to have. And I was comparing myself to my peers who were working at all of these fabulous places. And I just felt like I was a failure. Now, I have dealt with insecurity and rejection for a lot of my life. It has been one of the significant struggles that I have had to deal with. And so when I didn't land that job, it was almost like validation that the lie I believed all these years that I wasn't good enough was true. Because apparently I'm not good enough for this company or this company to want to hire me. But they do want to hire her. So she must be better than me, which means I'm not good enough. And so I was just believing that lie that I had put in my head a long time ago. However, when we believe a lie from yesterday, we will never be able to walk in the purpose that God has given us today. So my question for you is, what lie are you believing? What lie is keeping you from fulfilling the purpose that God has for you today? So I was so caught up in striving to really prove myself. I was trying to prove myself. And so like I said, I passed out 3 different times on 3 different occasions. I think the next time was like 6 months after that. And then the next time was 6 months after that. And all of them were due to the same thing, stress. I was stressed out, feeling like just a complete failure. And I will never forget, I was in the doctor's office. This must have been, I guess, after the 3rd time. I'm in the doctor's office And at this point, the doctor has seen me several times. And finally, they were like, Cherese, what is going on? Why are you so busy? What are you trying to prove? And I snapped back and said, I'm trying to prove that I'm not a failure. I'm trying to prove that I'm worth it. And never had I said those words out loud. And when that came out, the real, the honest, the raw, when those words came out, I just remember breaking down. I was just weeping in the doctor's office because I saw where I was. Y'all, I was in a dark place. I was stuck. I was at a really low point in my life. Just thinking about that time kind of brings tears to my eyes just because I remember the pain that I was experiencing in that place, in that low place where I felt like I was stuck, like I was on that stationary bike doing a whole bunch of movement, but I wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't going anywhere. I remember during this time crying out to the Lord and just being like, Lord, there has to be something more for me than this. There has to be something more than the same old, something more than striving to get this or striving to get that, something more than that. There has to be something more. Because I had realized and I had decided that my pain where I was, it was either going to continue to be my personal prison like it was, or it was going to be my platform for purpose. And what the Lord showed me was that the more that He had for me was purpose. You see, I was just going through the motions. Just wake up, go to work, eat, sleep, do the whole 9 yards, whatever it is. I was just waking up, going to work, eating, sleeping. And that whole time period just kind of feels like a gaze because I was totally gone. I was just going through the motions. I was just existing, but I wasn't living. Do you feel like that? Do you feel as though you were just going through the motions, but you're not actually living? And so God was telling me, I have so much more planned for you. I want you to live a life that is full of light, full of purpose, and full of impact. I want you to live a life that is radiant. No more just existing. I have called you. You are created for a purpose, with a purpose. And so now it's time for you, Cherese, to live on purpose. But I feel like the Lord isn't just saying that to me, but He's saying that to you too. We can exchange striving for living lives on purpose that are totally full of purpose. So I moved into a place where I was no longer driven by my fears of failing, but now I was driven by the calling the Lord has on my life. I was driven by purpose. No more existing. I was truly living. And this isn't just a life for me, but I know it is a life that God wants you to live as well. So I talk way more about this and go even more into detail in the free guide that I have written, and you can actually find it on my website and you can get it right here. So thanks so much for watching this video. Please comment. Let me know what you think. I love reading all of your comments and I definitely respond to every single one of them. So it's time, darling, that you stopped just existing. It's time that you started living.